Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for coming down.
No, thanks for the invite and everything. So it's good to be here.
You talked with these guys before?
Yeah, on Skype. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we had a meeting. That was probably about 3 weeks ago or something like that.
Oh, maybe a bit more.
4 weeks.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, in that realm of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've been working on some stuff with Unreal Engine lately.
Yeah, I do a bit of hovering between websites, programming, application programming, and game development. So I finished my degree in around May. Was the final finish date. And I've been looking for work on the Sunshine Coast, but it's few and far between for programming jobs down that way, and they want people with experience. So I've just been working on some of my own projects in the meantime. I released an application not long ago, and that's written in Java, and I made a website for it. So that was my first application release. It's a free program.
Do you want to stick this on the window? They're confidential. Oh, you can stick it on the inside, yeah. To know that they're confidential calls that they're making could potentially be recorded. We had one episode, you've probably seen it, with Chris Briggs and Jeremy Kay when they came in.
Which one was that?
So Chris Briggs is a young guy who became a Microsoft, what was he called? An ambassador, student ambassador.
Oh, I did say that one.
Went to Russia.
Yeah, that was the Prodigy.
That's right.
Yeah.
So while he was talking, someone was standing right outside the window talking on the phone.
Yeah, okay.
So we came up with this. This is our hack for fixing that. It's a hashtag there, I fixed it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what was the website name?
Earthquakeinformation.com.au. It's a little earthquake app that gets live data, or almost live data, from a REST service.
Yeah. So you have recently discovered a new kind of market niche that we're exploring.
Okay.
Which is teaching children to build websites.
Okay, radio. Yep.
Yeah, so what we're at work at the moment on is scaffolding kind of a support structure around that idea.
Okay, I see.
So we have a pilot implementation taking place in a high school.
Okay.
20 kids.
Yep.
Aged between 12 and 17.
Yeah.
So there's quite a number of different challenges with it. People moving at different speeds, figuring out ways to have it work for them. Yeah.
Okay.
At the moment, we're just working on some documentation for the kids to use. So at the moment, they've just been assigned all their roles within the project.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're doing at the moment is just giving them a brief description and a few links just to describe what these roles actually are.
So is it based on web development, what they're doing, or?
They are developing a website at the moment. So yep. So we're using Gorilla to be able to work on all this together and then put it all together in a doc.
Sure.
And be launched.
Sure.
Which Josh has already put onto a website for them to be able to access, but at the moment our project role descriptions haven't been added to it yet, but that is what we're working on.
Okay.
And there's a little bit more technology stuff like Trello and Slack.
Yeah, I've used Trello before, but I haven't used Slack. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there was a real interesting talk at NBC in Sydney, and hopefully they'll put the video online soon. It's called the Reverse Conway Maneuver, or how if we don't stop having meetings, the internet will stop working. Yeah. So basically the idea, here's the thing in a nutshell. Conway's law is that a system that's produced by a team mirrors the structure of the system that's produced by a team, mirrors the communication structure of the team that produces it. So the famous example is if you have a team with 4 units in it, 4 teams working on a compiler, they'll produce a 4-pass compiler.
Yeah, sure.
Or if you have a government department where they're building a system and they have 4 different contractors working on it that don't talk to each other, they're going to come up with 4 systems that don't talk to each other.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So that's the Conway's law. And then the reverse Conway maneuver is when you look at a broken implementation and you restructure your development team to reflect what you want it to look like.
Okay, cool.
So in terms of building, well, here's another couple of things out of that. So he said, imagine if you wanted to build a system and you're going to have this, you've got different kind of bottlenecks for performance in it, but imagine if you had one where there was a single point of contention where all processing stops, everything waits for a single thread to process something, and then that's how your system works. And he was like, no one would design a system like that today, right? Because you know, with the limitations on CPU power and massive availability of the cloud, you've
Yeah.
got to parallelize your workloads so that they can just like run massively, scalably in parallel,
Sure.
because you can scale horizontally. Then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he said, well, you know, that's basically what a meeting is. All the threads stop, all
Yeah.
productivity stops,
Yeah.
one person, you know. So he said, if you tell me that you're building a highly scalable, distributed, cloud-based asynchronous system using a centralized office with fixed hours, I'm going to laugh at you.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's a bit like the old waterfall methodology, a little bit compared to a more iterative approach.
Yeah.
In software development. So yeah, that tends to be stuck in a pipeline that goes like that, and everything has to go along the single pipeline. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so in terms of building this project with the kids, we want to introduce them to that experientially.
Okay.
So the actual structure of how we build the project, you know, reflects that at all the different levels. So part of it is building these asynchronous kind of resources that they can access, because they're going to be moving at different speeds.
Yeah.
So using, obviously using things like Git, Cloud9, Slack for asynchronous communication, hosting the resources, and then figuring out which ones, you know, they'll need and structuring them so that they can access them. They don't get information overload.
Okay,
They
great.
can find the ones they need at the right time.
Yeah.
Introducing them to the right kinds of concepts.
I've done some great projects with Git before, and that's fantastic for as far as development goes when you've got a team working on a project.
Cool.
So I've had a bit of experience with that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a computer with you?
I was going to bring it, but I wasn't sure, so I left it at home. But
Okay.
Yeah, I can
Why don't
bring
you
it
set
this
this one
time.
up then?
Okay.
There's this one under here.
Yep.
And keyboard and mouse.
Yep.
And
How lovely.
a monitor.
Cool.
Yeah. So maybe you can, I know you guys might be able to work on something around this project today with Gorilla, having a look at where it's up to, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Then you probably come up with all kinds of ideas or what's possible.
Sure.